Hey, welcome to Mikey's Video Game Madness. Today we're playing Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition on the PlayStation 4. This is also available on the Xbox One, and I think the PC version was just called Sleeping Dogs, and then they got a patch that made it like the definitive version. Obviously the PC version is going to look the best, depending on your hardware, of course. This runs at 30 frames per second. Even if this ran at 60, you wouldn't be able to see it with my recording device, but it looks nice. It's 1080p, it runs 30 frames per second. Looks a lot sharper than 360 and PS3 original Sleeping Dogs. The 360 version was a little bit sharper than the PlayStation 3 version, but both looked quite well, and you can't go wrong with either version. So this is kind of like a streamlined version of the Yakuza series, and I guess a lot like Grand Theft Auto as well. It probably feels more like Grand Theft Auto than Yakuza, but I guess there's a lot of stuff to do like you can do in the Yakuza games, but the Yakuza games were, if you saw in my original video, more like a RPG. As you can see, this is the size of the map. It's not ridiculously huge compared to like Grand Theft Auto 5, but I mean, it feels lived in, and since they don't have to worry about as much space, there's much more stuff going on. You really do have the feeling that you're like on the streets of Hong Kong, well, as much as you can in a video game. So we'll go to the garage and get a vehicle. The only gripe I have with this game is one due to my own personal disability. This is just some piece of shit car that I bought. Depending on the more missions that you do, like you're only able to buy certain cars. Like you need what is it called, like face or something? You need to raise your level on face to be able to get cooler cars. So this was like somewhat expensive, but not super expensive. I'm used to playing the PlayStation 3 version. I haven't really played much of either of these games, but the one thing gripe I have that I was talking about before but got sidetracked, imagine that on my channel, was the countering on this. Like Batman Arkham or other games like Mad Max and what's the fuck's the other one, the Lord of the Rings game, Shadow of Mordor, there's more of a defined graphical cue to counterattack. This one has like a slight red outline, and I'm red and green colorblind, so sometimes it's hard for me to pick up on it until it's too late. Your timing has to be pretty decent to be able to counterattack. You can usually tell by the animations, but if you get surrounded by a lot of guys, it's really hard to tell like who's about to hit you. So you have things like these are cop missions in blue. These are like bonus side missions, death by 1,000 cuts. I'm like no way powerful enough to fight that. You have a cleaver. You have all these guys that attack you with a cleaver, with poisonous knives and shit, and you have this golden cleaver that never breaks. And yeah, once they hit you with the poison like knives, like it drains your health, and you have to fight them as soon as possible. You have to like kill 30 of them at a time, and you're not really good at counterattacking with melee weapons. So I'm wondering if it's better to fist fight them. So I've recently gotten back into this game, and I don't know what the hell to do. Now if you see here highlighted, these blue badges here, these are like drug bust missions where you go and fight a crowd of people. I haven't actually really driven around this part of town, but anyway, you go and fight drug dealers. Then there's a box that has a code on it that you have to figure out, which is fairly easy. It's not like the more complex kind of pain in the ass deciphering that you would have in, let's say, Fallout 4 or 3, and if you fail, it gives you another chance. Sorry about that update. But yeah, there's like a lot of little things. You can buy clothes here, and then anyway, with these missions, once you do all that shit, you go back to your crib, and then you go onto your TV and watch the drug bust, and then pick out who to arrest based on what you saw. So I believe this is actually a full-fledged mission, so we'll do this. My nice soccer mom car. I don't know how I feel about the color. I didn't really have an option that I knew of the color. I'm a bit tired, but I wanted to record videos anyway. If you look on the left, there's blue little guys. That means those are police on the street. So you got to kind of micromanage your triad rank and your top rank at the same time. But I don't know if you get a different ending or not. The Definitive Edition also has all the DLC. There was a couple of DLC missions or options in the beginning of the menu, which I didn't really show, but it's there. So whatever DLC was released on the original Sleeping Dogs, it's on here, and I killed them. I'm not used to driving, well, I'm not used to driving this tired, but I'm not used to driving on the left side of the road, which you do here. I had an issue with that on the Getaway. I imagine it's difficult for people that drive on the left side of the road to play Grand Theft Auto, where you're required to drive on the right side of the road. But here we'll do a mission. So this was kind of a, I guess in some ways, a hidden gem. I think the reason why they came up with the Definitive Edition was because not a lot of people bought the original edition, so they tried to give it another chance, and then they released, I don't know if it's out yet or they've released it. I didn't really care too much about it. For some reason, instead of releasing a sequel, they released like this this massive multiplayer online game. I forgot what it's called. I'm thinking Triad Wars, but that might be something else. I don't know. It was something like that. I just drink some caffeine and keep my fingers crossed it keeps me awake. If you're gonna bitch and be like, why did you do this video tired? Well, it's my fucking channel. I'll do whatever I want. I like making videos, and I'll make one tired, awake, whatever. Now, if it was my job, I'd probably be more professional at it, but since it's not, I'll do what I want. So supposedly, this game has more traffic density, and I know for a fact I've noticed it has more objects with physics in it, but yeah, for the most part it feels pretty similar to the original versions. It's a lot nicer. I'm looking, I guess, sharpness wise, and the textures look a little bit more detailed, and the lighting effects seem better. I'd have to see the game side by side, but I remember when I first got this game, I didn't feel like it was a drastic change, but it did look noticeably nicer. So if you had an option of this or the original versions, I'd probably get this version. We're doing a racing mission, which I'm probably going to suck balls at. Even though I can't drive worth a shit apparently in this game. The cars kind of control strange. They're very arcadey. Like, I know like the motorcycles, they like turn on a dime, like unrealistically. But these cars, a lot of these cars, to me, they feel like they don't match the other arcade physics of some of the other vehicles, and maybe they did that on purpose. I don't know. I don't play a lot of racing games, but I always feel like the brakes take a while for them to kick in unless you're on a motorcycle or something, even if you're not going that fast. The square button is the ram into things. Like if I hold forward and square like that, I'll ram into the car if I'm able to hit it. Since I was talking, I wasn't paying attention. But I'm not going to be that good at this anyway, so it really doesn't freaking matter. There's not a lot of open areas like there would be in Grand Theft Auto, so you're not going to find a whole bunch of shortcuts or areas to explore. everything's kind of truncated into a small area, but it looks really nice. I don't know like how I'll feel about that with the extended play of the game. Like maybe the aerials will get older, because it definitely does not feel as big as Grand Theft Auto, but it does a lot of things better than Grand Theft Auto. The vehicles, I don't know. The character control feels a lot better. Can I restart this? Sorry about that. I never said I was good. I like the way the vehicles handle better in Grand Theft Auto, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know how to explain the physics on this, but some cars just feel, I don't know, unnatural, I would guess would be a good way to put it. Like, sometimes they stop at a dime, like, the physics don't make any sense. Like, ramming into a car, like, it's like all of a sudden you get this speed out of, like, nowhere to do it. And, like, some of the vehicles seem to be able to do like 90-degree unrealistic turns, but this car seems more in line with like a Grand Theft Auto car, which I keep on crashing because I'm used to the sharp turns of some of the other vehicles. I've heard some people say that the 60 frames per second on the PC version actually makes this game easier, but I don't plan on ever getting this game on PC, so I don't know, and I suck really bad at this. But even though I've had this game for a long time, I'm fairly new to it. It was one of those games I kind of picked up on PlayStation 3, got sucked into other games, and then kind of forgot about it with the intention of playing it at a different time. And then when I got the definitive edition, I gave the PS3 version to my, at the time, brother-in-law, and because I got the definitive edition, I pushed the wrong button to do the handbrake. So stupid. I only had like one other person to get in front of. I don't even know if I should be ramming into the cars at this point. But I like this game a lot. I'm just having trouble learning the melee combat a little bit, and that's partially due to my color blindness. I've been tempted to change the colors on the TV, but I'd have to readjust everything. Everything would look like shit. I wonder if this game running at 60 frames per second would give you more of a sense of speed. There is some like slight blurring filter on this that makes it look like your cars go faster.
Good win. Lucky for you, those Amars kept getting in the way. One in a million shots.
And your actual character model actually has the same effect when he runs and stuff. I can't remember if that was in the original or not. The characters have like almost like a plastic like look to them. Sometimes it looks weird, other times it looks really good. This is a really nice looking game on any console, but I guess the PS4 and the PC version looks the best, although I imagine the Xbox One looks pretty comparable too. You know, I've never played an Xbox One game beside Forza 5. This looks like a freaking rally car now. Every time you level up, you get like an ability. I don't know if you guys remember the menu system in, sorry about the ums, I'm just trying to buy myself time to talk. I don't know if you remember the menus in Yakuza 4, but these menus are more streamlined. They're pretty easy to follow. So you have your cop upgrades right here. So the more cop missions you do, the more you unlock. So when I attempt that cleaver mission, I would like to upgrade some of this. You have your triad missions, which the more triad missions you do, you unlock stuff. It's mostly melee combat stuff. Then you have melee training. In order to get this, you actually have to find statues around the city and then bring them to a dojo, and then they'll teach you how to do a new move. And then with face meter, it seems like you have to do like, I don't know, random side missions and shit to upgrade that, and I haven't done enough to. I guess you got to go find the health shrines. Judging by this, they're all scattered around the city. I thought they just replenished their health like when you needed them, but apparently if you get enough of them, they'll refill your health. I don't know if you noticed, but apparently I don't know what I'm doing some of the time, or a lot of the time, to be honest with you. What else is next? It's probably like Grand Theft Auto, where somebody's got to call you over. I'm gonna probably get my ass kicked, but I'm going to attempt to do a drug bust. It never ends up well. I guess it's not technically cheating since the game lets you do it, but there's like 10 guys and I was barely leveled up, and instead of fighting them all, I ran over a majority of them with my car. And it was like the game almost didn't want you to do it because the camera was like all wonky and trying to get behind and in front of your car. That's one issue I have with this game. Well, beside the color blindness thing, but that's really my issue. The camera isn't the best in like small confined areas, which is unfortunate because you get stuck in those types of areas a lot because this is a pretty dense city. I don't remember how much traffic was in the other game, but maybe it's easier in the PlayStation 3 and or Xbox 360 version, the Wii in between traffic. I don't know. There's a highway. I think this is the first time I've ever actually been on the highway. I pretty much stayed in that small area of town that I was in. I imagine later on in the game this would probably be an area where a lot of the action-oriented stuff happens. I believe this was originally supposed to be a Dead to Right game. I bought one of them to was it Dead to Rights, or no, I think this was actually supposed to be a true crime game. They're somewhat similar. I think this is true crime. I don't know why, but I always loved bridges and looking at water on the side. I'm glad they added the detail. I like that even though technically you might not be able to get to something, I think you can go on boats. I don't know if you can go to that part of town. But I like how they rendered stuff that even though you might not necessarily be able to get to them, it's there. I'm fully aware I'm driving really bad. It's just that I don't care. Anyway, let's see. Is there like some entrance I've fully like missed? Yeah, you probably shouldn't stop cold on a highway. See, this is what I mean about streamline, like, or the area's kind of truncated. For instance, let's look at the map. I could be wrong, but like Grand Theft Auto, you could always like anywhere that you'd see a landmass, you could go to that area on the map, but like all this and this stuff right here, pretty much anywhere that's plain, there's like nowhere to go. It's all blocked off. So really, all the map in the game consists of probably the water and the streets based on my experience. I like I said, I'm pretty early on in the game, but that's the impression I'm getting. So even though the game's telling me I need to go here, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Maybe I need to go down here. This really sucks because if I die, I'm gonna be really screwed. That looks kind of weird. About to say the water looks nice, but that shoreline kind of reminds me of an older PC game. It's like a really awkward angle. I wonder if they expected you to see this part. I'm not picking on the game. Like the water, if you look here, it looks really nice, but this kind of looks weird. But I'm used to playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and even though a lot of people didn't like it, I thought it was fantastic. I can't wait to play the sequel if they come out with one. I think they announced one, but recently finished Watch Dogs a few months ago, and I thought that game was fantastic. And it had some of the best looking water that I've seen in a game. It wasn't like beach water, it was like good water that not good, but it was nice looking water that looked realistic for a city. You know, sometimes you play video games and the water is always crystal clear and blue. It had like that kind of brown water, but when you got closer to the shore, it would get more transparent and you could see at the bottom. It just looked really good to me. It looked really good when it rained too. I don't even know how to really get to that area I'm supposed to go to. Is there somewhere else I can go to? I'm gonna get my ass kicked, but the only reason why I'm showing you this so you can see the battle system. I did a video, I think a long time ago, of the PlayStation 3 demo. Even though I own the actual game, I never did a video of the game. I always liked the artwork of the PlayStation 3 game. I can't remember, I don't think the artwork was the same on the definitive edition, but I liked the comic book art style. Well, it was almost more like a tattoo art style, but it was really cartoony, and it was kind of misleading of what the game looked like if you actually saw the cover art. But I really liked the hand-drawn art of the box cover, but I think the definitive edition had like some rendered image on it. I'm gonna get my ass kicked. If you're hearing that tapping, that's me trying to mash buttons. So every once in a while you get little cues that now they got cleavers. Great. Now I'm gonna get killed. Yeah, I got killed. Felt like I already killed 8 people, but I guess I didn't. But anyway, I think you've seen enough without making this video ridiculously long, because I'm still slowly getting better at this game. I kind of suck ass at it right now, but it's a really nice looking game. There's little depth of field effects where he gets kind of blurry when he gets up close. That seems to be a pretty common effect, but this game looks as good during the day as it does at night. Some games, because I like before I went to some games, like the neon signs and stuff like that reflect on the street, especially when it's raining. Some games don't look as good at night as they do during the day. For instance, Watch Dogs look twice as better like at night because of all the lights and the lighting effects than it did during the day. But this is a nice looking game. If you played the Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 version, and you really liked it, I would look into getting this for the extra DLC. But if you were just okay with your Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 version, and you don't care that the graphics are better, maybe you should just stick with that copy. I mean, you're your own person, so you can do whatever the fuck you want to. Don't listen to me. I can't stand it when people tell me what to do. But I think this is a highly enjoyable, fun game. It's a little bit harder for me because of the color thing and the learning curve. There's some minor camera issues. You get used to them. Maybe it's a problem that I only have, but I think in smaller areas the camera's kind of confused. It doesn't always know what to do, but I think this game's a solid purchase in my opinion, and I saw it brand new today for $20, so it's probably even cheaper used. But I always recommend, or I always say, if you really like the game or like the company, you should get the game new and not used unless you don't have another option. But I fully understand what it's like to try to save money as well, but I don't know. For $20 you really can't beat it, but I don't know if when it's discounted if it even helps the company. That's something you probably need to look up on the internet if you're curious about. I am not like a wealth of knowledge today. I'm so tired, and I wanted to make a video anyway. Maybe I'll cover this game later on when I get better at it. I always say I'll cover the game later on because I get worried that my commentary wasn't up to par. I know the gameplay wasn't, but I mean, it's whatever. I enjoy making these videos not only for you, but like for me, because I can look back and know what happened during this time of day. And like I said, they're kind of like diary entries, especially if I start talking about my personal life. I really didn't do it that much this time. I just talked about the game or whatever. And anyway, this is Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, also available on the Xbox One. This is obviously a PlayStation 4 version, and I think the PC version was just called Sleeping Dogs. So maybe they have a definitive edition now, but I think the PC version like got a patch to make it like the definitive version with upgraded textures, lighting, etc., etc. I guess it depends on how powerful your computer is how definitive it makes the game. But I think this is an awesome game, and if you like these types of sandbox games, you really can't go wrong. So thank you guys so much for watching, and take care. Bye.
If you want to, like, comment, and subscribe! Thanks for watching!